One of the most uncompromising voices in art, Chandraguptha Thenuwara, returns each July with a harshly inward look at society. This year, he uses the biblical story of the prostitute who is to be stoned to death. Criminalization based on sexual orientation is a violation of human rights, and he reminds Sri Lanka that social stigma creates barriers. Discrimination begets violence, and colonial era laws remain ingrained in a country that calls itself independent. Cast the First Stone is a stark reminder that unless we continue to struggle for change, we will all be guilty of being among the crowd chanting, Cast the First Stone. He is on Kaleidoscope Ceylinco Life Dialogues today. Every year in July, you bring out a very thought provoking exhibition. What made you work with Cast the First Stone, this biblical story?
Because I observed kind of years and years, and um, it's a never-ending kind of things that blaming women, especially sex workers. They were arrested and labeling them, and whole society is blaming them. But poor girls are sometimes coming to Colombo to work and spa and some kind of things. So that even they are not involved in the sex work, even it's labeling as a sex work. So the labeling and blaming and so kind of things happening is like kind of stoning. I took that because the decision of the Jesus show us any unnecessary law can be changed.
So, are you telling me that nothing really has changed from the biblical times right up to now?
No, we have physically and electronically, industrially, and social life and little bit changes, but thinking patterns still the male chauvinism is still dominating. So patriarchy and male thinking and male decision makers. Even sometimes women also get the chance to be a power center, but they have to think as male rather than women.
Why do you feel women's bodies and lives have always been central to these battlegrounds in history?
When the hunt gatherers beginning of the civilization, so we have to work together. So after the weekend became an agrarian society. So the men got a lot of power, and all the religious things and everything started from that. And the center became the kind of men. So men started to decide what to do with them, every other thing, not only we female issues and other labor issues and who is a slave and other things. So everything is coming from that past.
So, these political and social struggles, the tensions we are seeing, uh, how, what do we as a society need to do so that we can see some semblance of peace building?
All the society, all the people has to put aside some their differences and accept the difference. We are different, their culture is different, their beliefs are different, but we are sharing the same land. So that until that we are accepting that, there will be the kind of suspicions against other. So always there will be other rather than the we. So that is why still we can't. We are labeling we are Sri Lankans, but still we didn't build up our Sri Lankan nation, including everybody to this. So when sometimes Sri Lanka means Sinhalese. Where the Tamils are, where the Muslims are, where the Burghers are, where the Vedas are, no, where the Malaya people. So they separately address to those issues, but we are not working toward the Sri Lankanness. But when the politics involved to get votes from the people, they are using these differences and putting the religious differences and the language differences to win their votes. That is, we have to stop.
The cycle of hatred, the cycle of discrimination, is it kind of a historical burden that we seem to not be able to get out of?
It shouldn't be in Sri Lanka, especially. We are saying is our culture is Buddhist culture, predominantly. Now is not BC culture. It's like a BC become differently, blaming and claiming, not the Buddhist culture kind of thing. So, but even so that is why the hatred, don't hate anyone. So, the Buddha said, no, say it not gives any results. But unfortunately, politicians, even after the crisis, even after the Aragalaya, people had that Aragalaya and everything to change better society. No, but we had hatred coming through long period. It's not a yesterday thing. It started from the 1930s, might be 20s, when we started the anti-colonial struggle. But after the winning of the independence, it turned to the hatred to the who have things, have nots and haves.
Have you started thinking about your next subject now that July is over?
My observation period start, so I'm looking till the government make mistakes and the people make mistakes, so then they will provide me the subject matters. But I think that these cultural notions, we have to fight with them, change, how to change. Because if you go back to the before, before the English came to the power and established their power, we had more freedom on women body than the Victorian values. You can read the Robert Knox and how we enjoyed our life. Okay, we had a king. Yeah, this different matter. But we change the societies to bad versions. But we have to correct it them and we have to fight.
Catch us wherever you stroll: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Hit subscribe, hit follow, and stay in the loop.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Ceylinco Life.